I anticipated that if things were going the way I said they were going, we would be in for the long term. It was going to be a slow recovery. If we didn't have a large enough stimulus, a well-designed stimulus, if we didn't do what we needed to do about mortgages, if we didn't fix the banks in the right way, the economy would be mired in a downturn for possibly years to come. And unfortunately, we didn't do any of the things that we should have done. And here we are with the unemployment rate, 9.6%, 1 out of 6 of Americans who would like a full-time job, not able to get one.
Well, you said in the book that you put the onus of responsibility for what happened in 2008 on the financial markets and the institutions, and that they were attempting to shift blame, and that the problem is in the system, fundamental flaws.
That's right. It was not an accident. You know, the financial sector would like to tell you it's something that happened to them, an accident. It's really something that they did to the rest of us. And in a way, you've been able to see continuation of, you might call it their bad behavior in the months since they brought the economy to the brink. When we gave money to the banks, intended, the president said, to allow them to lend more, they didn't take the money to recapitalize the banks and to lend it to get the economy going. They paid it out in bonuses. They paid it out in dividends. It didn't recapitalize the banks. And the result is what we have today.
You say that the financial reforms, which the Obama administration did pass, were stronger than perhaps you expected, but didn't work as well as they should have.
Yeah, I described it a little bit like a smelly Swiss cheese. They have a lot of good principles. Putting it together and you look at it, it's a little smelly. So many holes that it's an embarrassment. Let me give just one example. They recognized that we needed something to protect consumers, and they created a Financial Product Safety Commission. But they exempted automobile loans, the second most important category of loans. Now, is there any reason why the banks ought to be allowed to engage in predatory lending practices for one category of loans, automobile, and not for the other? No, we all know what this was. This was naked politics.
Well, now, you've got a situation right now, talking about politics, where a large percentage of the public is very upset about the deficit. And many people feel that the money that was spent on TARP by both the administration and the previous administration and the money for the bailouts was money thrown away.
Well, they're half wrong about both of those, more wrong about one than the other. The bailout money didn't succeed in getting the financial system really onto doing what it's supposed to do, which is to lend money to small and medium-sized enterprises. The stimulus package actually worked in the following sense. It was intended to create more jobs or to forestall the loss of jobs. It succeeded. If we hadn't had that stimulus package, unemployment, rather than peaking at 10%, would have peaked at somewhere between 12 and 13%. The mistake they made was that it was too small, too short, not as well designed as I would have liked, as I say in the book it should have been. The problem is that if we don't have a second round of stimulus, and I'll be frank, I don't see it on the cards. If we don't, the economic recovery is going to be much weaker, take much longer, and there's going to be much more unemployment.
Well, you say in the book that we have to rely on fiscal policy to help restore the economy to health. That flies in the face of what the Republicans are arguing: less regulation, more tax cuts, and this is what a large percentage of the voters seem to think going to the polls.
Yeah. Unfortunately, from an economic point of view, that won't work. I mean, tax cuts, we tried that in 2008, and part of the reason that the Obama stimulus package didn't work was about 40% of it was tax cuts. And the problem is pretty obvious. With Americans burdened with debt, facing uncertainties of unemployment, they're not going to spend. And the very essence of a stimulus is that people have to spend money. Monetary policy, which is the other instrument, has reached the limits of its ability. Zero interest rate, it's not worked. And they're talking now about a new
expectation of...
Well, quantitative easing. lowering the long-term interest rates from, say, 2.5% to 2.4% is not going to get us out of this mess. And I don't, think anybody really realistically believes that to be the case.
Professor Joseph Stiglitz, thank you very much. The book
Thank you.
is Freefall. This is the latest edition, contains an afterword with your thoughts on what's happened since you wrote the hardcover edition 8-9 months ago.
That's right.
It's out. Go find it. Thank you.